if we're holding stress, right, and our body knows it, our body is telling us long before our brain even is aware of that. And that's why the slowing down and maybe developing a meditation practice or a body scan process when you fall asleep at night can help you become more aware of your body, because your body can tell you much quicker than your brain of like, I'm in overwhelm, right? Because your
Mhm.
body is actually holding a lot of that long before your brain
Mhm.
acknowledges it. So if you start connecting to the body more
Mhm.
often, your body can tell you quicker and the awareness can come. And then you can take the pause, take the breath, do the practice to help unwind. Like you said, like as you get so tightly wound to the outcome, you can start taking care of yourself.
What if the best chapter of your life hasn't even begun yet? What lies within you is the power to live brighter, bolder, and truer than ever before. So welcome to Vivatude, where caregiving, connections, and career come into balance, and where your vitality, vision, and voice shines through. Because the revolution isn't out there, it's already within you. Welcome to Vivatude.
Hello, everyone. I am Coach Tracy Cromwell, and I am your host for the Vivatude podcast. And my focus is on physical and environmental wellness for caregivers. And because that is my focus, I wanted to bring you a very special guest tonight, my very dear friend for many years, Stefanie Harris. Now, Stefanie, I brought along because she's someone that you really, really need to hear from. And also, I would say follow up and have a chance to speak with her personally. So, Stefanie is a holistic wellness coach. She focuses on mindfulness, childhood trauma, physical fitness, and yoga. And she has an incredible business called Spacious Heart. So, Stefanie, thank you so much for joining me on this podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here.
Yes, absolutely. So, can you tell us a little bit about Spacious Heart and what you do there, and what you've learned about uh, how we can look at ourselves with compassion and kindness, and especially through caring? So, have at it. I am just going to sit here and listen to you.
Well, thank you. So I was in the corporate world for many moons, so probably 30 years of my life, and really achieving a lot, had a lot of stuff going on. And in 2020, I left my corporate job. I lost my parents were in a car accident in 2014. I lost my father, and that really uh, changed a lot for me. And I still kept working for obviously 6 more years, but really brought some awareness to the fact that life is precious and that there's more to the churn and burn. And so I think I've been on the mindfulness path for a long time. I started doing yoga in my 20s, and I think subconsciously understood the energy of being able to disconnect from the mind and really go into the body and do that work. And so when I left corporate world in 2020, I started teaching mindfulness-based stress reduction classes, and really started opening me up to my own healing as well as helping other people heal, and to kind of um, how through meditation and sitting with all of it, we can really start to release some of the stuff that we carry. I like to call it, if anyone's worked with me as a coach, I say the backpack that we carry with all the stuff, and how to kind of take that off and to pull things out and let it go and examine it. And many people have heard you have to go through it you have to go through it to really release it. And so doing it for myself and then helping others. And then I took a mindful self-compassion class. And I was like, wow, what is this? You can be nice to yourself when things are hard instead of like pushing harder. And it was really an awareness builder for me of how compassion can be such a great tool for, especially in this world where we believe, no pain, no gain, all of the belief systems that we've carried, that offering ourselves compassion, and there's data and neuroscience and all sorts of, data behind it, but you got to let it go. You got to like kind of really examine the belief systems and kind of release them. And
Mhm.
I've been teaching mindful self-compassion now since 2021, I think, and I just love it. It's one of the
Mhm.
things to just offer it to people. And I think as a caregiver, it's super important to offer yourself compassion. We are, when we kind of have this martyr feeling when we're taking care of someone of like we have to do everything for them, and then our batteries get drained and we're depleted, and then we feel bad because we're depleted because we resent or we're overwhelmed, and then it's this cycle.
Mhm.
And one of the mottos of self-compassion is putting on your own oxygen mask first. So figuring out how to fill your own tank so that you can show up for the other person, but also have boundaries and to be able to hold space, right? And this
Yeah.
idea of being empathetic, I think many caregivers are probably are very empathetic or take on a lot of the energy when they're caring for someone. And the difference between empathy is that empathy is, if you looked at neuroscience, if you hit your finger with a hammer right now, Tracy, my brain would light up the same as yours, just like
You would feel it.
it
Yeah.
would, I would feel or I would react similarly, even though I am sitting, miles away from you. That's
Mhm.
empathy. So that is like we're already wired to feel another person.
Mhm.
Compassion is the ability to hold space for another person. So not taking that feeling and letting it into our energy field to the point where it is in our backpack, heavy and weighted down. So
Mhm.
learning compassion is to be able to witness it and to hold space. And compassion actually has a positive energy to it. It's got like this energy of like I'm holding you. I can be right here, but I am separate from you. We are not merged. I'm not taking on. I'm not trying to fix you. I am just here, and I'm going to take care of myself, and I'm going to do my best.
Mhm. Yep.
And if I need to take a pause or I need to take a break or I need to say no, that's not being bad or wrong. That this is really resourcing myself to show up in my best way, which for many of us feels really opposite of what we think a caregiver is, but it's really the best way to be a caregiver. So when you think of nurses and hospice and all the things,
Mhm.
they need to resource themselves just like we do when we're caring for someone that we love.
Yeah.
So I think that was a great learning for me,
Mhm.
to really that the difference between empathy and compassion. And there was a lot of discussion about compassion fatigue, but it's really empathetic fatigue that we go through when we feel overwhelmed because we're just taking it all in. There's no separation between you and the person that you're caring for. And so
Yeah.
resourcing yourself. And it takes practice, which is
Yep.
what meditation always tells us, come back to the present moment, be right here,
Yep.
practice being present.
I think too, as you and I both had experience caring for others. So yeah, so Stefanie, for our listeners, Stefanie has been in that position of really being a caregiver as well, and as I have. And what are your thoughts about when um, your mind is just saying there's got to be something more I could do for this person, and that spinning wheel that can happen with somebody, and and then you realize each time you try, you kind of that reality comes of like there really isn't, but then you still keep wanting to try, and it really isn't going to happen. So what are your thoughts there? um, um, for someone caring for somebody that might be feeling the same way.
Yeah, so I think, the awareness of that, first of all, is the gift. Like, oh, wow, look at me really wanting things to be different than they are. me
Mm-hmm.
wanting the person to respond to whatever it is. It's, usually what's showing up is stress or overwhelm is actually wanting things to be different than they are. So the awareness of that, of knowing that, wow, I'm really spinning, or I'm really attached to the outcome here. I'm attached to what's going to happen, or I'm feeling I need to do. So the way I teach this to people, it's like the easiest thing for me is like a math equation. Pain comes in and how much we resist it. So pain times resistance equals suffering. So wanting things to be different than it is resistance. So it's noticing, what am I resisting right now? And if you can acknowledge the resistance and then get a little deeper, really what you want, there's usually a fear or some unworthiness that's showing up of like, I'm not worthy to help this person the way that I think I should. All of the shoulding comes in and all of that is to just recognize that and give yourself a little bit of grace
Mm-hmm.
for, wow, I'm really resisting. I really want things to be different than they are. And allowing yourself to kind of feel that. Our bodies hold a lot of it. So feeling how you're feeling and just allowing it to be acknowledged can help it just kind of wash through. Because every emotion is just, it's just an emotion that if we sit with it long enough, it will move. So slowing down, releasing some of the resistance, and just getting to a place of, it is what it is, almost, right? Acknowledging, okay, here's where we're at, get the data, and what can I do? And if there's nothing you can do, then you just allow yourself to be that loving energy, either with the person or away from the person, right?
Yeah.
Whatever shows up as being what is, the best thing in that situation. I don't know if that answered it, but it's really that self-reflection of, what do I need right now? How do I help myself in this moment?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it can be very easy um, to not want, to not, how do you phrase it? You phrased it, being really attached to the outcome.
Mhm.
And one thing that's helped me as well, and you and I talk a lot, and so you know
Yep.
a lot of my story too, is just being able to release the outcome. And
Yep.
that has been one of the biggest benefits that I have found, uh, that's released that caregiving tension. And not that it's
Yeah.
always works, I'll catch it. I'll catch, like, one moment I'll be really stressed, even if I'm not in the moment of caring for somebody, but it stays with me. It's like something that
Yep.
I carry, and my mind is
The
always,
backpack.
yeah, and my mind's always there. And sometimes it's very hard to detach, even when I'm not physically there, because there's part of my brain that wants to control the outcome. And having that moment, like you said, where you mentioned the word should. I should be able to make the outcome be a certain way. And if I can't, then I haven't done enough, or someone didn't do
Yeah.
enough, or, and that part of the brain can just spin and spin.
Yep.
So, we know that our emotion and our thought processes impact our bodies physically.
Yep.
So can we talk a little bit about that part now too, and just the connection and um, you know the impacts of the shoulds and coulds and woulds as to the impact of the release. So can you talk to both points of how that can benefit our bodies or not benefit our
Well, of
bodies?
course, if we're holding stress, right, and our body knows it, our body is telling us long before our brain even is aware of that. And that's why the slowing down and maybe developing a meditation practice or a body scan process when you fall asleep at night can help you become more aware of your body, because your body can tell you much quicker than your brain of like, I'm in overwhelm, right? Because your
Mhm,
body is actually holding a lot of that long before your brain
mhm,
acknowledges it. So if you start connecting to the body more often, your body can tell you quicker and the awareness can come. And then you can take the pause, take the breath, do the practice to help unwind, like you said, like you get so tightly wound to the outcome, you can start taking care of yourself, right? And so the impact of that, and then moving the body, we all have different things that help us move through. I was a big doer, and part of my avoidant tactic was to just keep doing. That was
Mhm.
my stress reactivity mode. My way of actually releasing is to slow down. When I feel the henny penny, I'm very aware of my body and I'll be like, I need to sit right now, not do. Because in my doing, that is my way of revving up the stress. It's like, oh, I gotta go
Mhm.
jump. It feels like I have to jump on a bomb, like
Mhm.
very henny penny. And I
Mhm.
notice that. And then I'm like, no, I need to sit down. I need to feel this and let it move through me.
Mhm.
Um, and it's different for other people. Some people get stuck in freeze mode. They get so like they inactive, right? And so
Mhm.
just becoming aware of what happens when you become overwhelmed, and those people that go into freeze mode, they actually need to move their body maybe to get the prana moving and to release some of the stress and overwhelm. So it's all of those things that awareness, I always tell everyone, it's the gift. It's like learning and getting curious about what's going on with you and how the body responds, and what you can do. And that's why there's coaches like you and I to help people build that awareness and help them figure out what they can do. And then they learn that for themselves, because we know ourselves better than anyone, but you just have to, that's why mindfulness and being present is a key, like
Yeah.
getting present in the present moment, what's here right now, and
Yeah.
clearing, that out, and connecting to the body.
And then the aspect of and I believe most people have probably read this and they understand the impacts of stress on our body, our
Yeah.
heart, our cortisol levels. I noticed much better at this now, but I had grown up just always tense, always stressed, and so um, that was just a normal feeling
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah. Status quo.
Yeah, just I don't know. I didn't know it was different.
Yep.
I just knew that's how I felt. And then when I had the opportunity to start paying attention and understood that, oh, maybe I don't have to feel this way. Um, it was interesting. I go through, and sometimes it'll startle me still as well when I don't feel that and I'm calm inside. It is interesting because it's almost like my brain's like,
When
has to be something I should be worked up about, And it's like, and I understand. I know if you've heard the same thing that you can become very addicted to that feeling, even though it's harming your body. It's still like I'm used to having all this cortisol, and I'm used to this tension, and I don't know what to do with that when it's not there, right? So I don't know how you've experienced that, or if you have.
No, it's very true. And it's an
Yeah.
old, it got wired in as a safety, a way of protecting ourselves. And so it takes a long time to rewire, but the rewiring can happen. And the rewiring happens every time you notice it and you sit in the calm and you're like, oh, this feels very weird. But the body is settling, and every time you do it, that's why it's a practice. When you
Yep.
hear this, it's a practice. And I
Yep.
guess I want to talk about meditating, because everybody has all these ideas that there's rules to meditating. Meditating isn't always calm and pleasant. It can be all sorts of things, right? But you can drink coffee when you meditate. You can do whatever. It's just actually sitting with and being present with yourself, which in and
Mhm.
of itself for many people is very uncomfortable. Like, what, I'm just going to sit here and breathe and feel and notice what I'm thinking and not really try to, attach to
Mhm.
it, but just, be present. It's it's hard. It's difficult, and there's no right or wrong to it.
Yep.
And so it's
There's
just
no such thing as a bad meditation.
no, it's just this
It
opening
just is.
up. I mean, I remember in like my 20s reading the Dalai Lama's book, and I was at the laundromat and I'm like reading it and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna meditate. And I'm like looking at my watch and, oh, 30 seconds. I suck at this. This I'm horrible. Like the critic, like I'm really bad at this. And I think that's the way it starts, but it really is just noticing things. And there's
Mhm.
lots of tools for that. Like I mentioned the body scan.
Yeah, so
Um,
explain exactly what that is for our listeners.
it's just really, for people that don't sleep well, it's a part of MBSR, mindfulness-based stress reduction, which was developed for people with chronic stress.
Mhm.
And it came down the path to just all of us. We all have, like, we're holding stress in our bodies. And so the body scan is just a way of like starting at your feet and getting really curious about what sensations are not sensations, maybe noticing nothing's really going on in my feet, or maybe a lot is going on in your feet, right? And then just doing that, going through each part of your body. It's also very relaxing, and many people find it that they fall asleep halfway through. They get to their stomach and they're like, I'm out, right? But it's just a
Mhm.
way to connect and become aware of, oh, I have this lower back pain. Well, maybe it's a chronic back pain that you've had forever, but if you touch into it every day, you'll notice it's a little different, maybe feels a little different, rather than the mind just honing into, I just have back pain and it's always like this.
Mhm.
Not really, right? We know when we do different things, things change. Or when
Mhm.
I'm not thinking about it, I maybe don't notice it. So the body scan is really a way to open up to what's here right now. What can
Yeah.
I notice? What am I feeling? What's here? And oh, that's a really icky pain. So, but let me be with it and then watch it a little bit. And maybe as you watch it, maybe it gets worse, or maybe it gets a little more easeful, or maybe it gets worse and then it gets easeful. Like just really being curious about that helps you to notice more about what's going on in your body. And also, like I said, can be very relaxing to just focus on yourself and your body.
And it's a great way to become present in the moment because,
Mhm.
and it's interesting when I'll practice things like that, you just can't help it. All of a sudden you're with yourself.
Yes, you're with yourself. And
Automatically
then
happens.
there's maybe some gratitude of like, wow, this
Yep.
feels really good today.
Mhm.
What's here, right? Like,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
some acknowledgement of gratitude. And it's always nice to offer gratitude to yourself for or to your body of like, whenever I focus on my feet, I'm like always amazed how much our feet they hold and they do all day for us, right? And they get very little attention.
Yeah. Like just get in these shoes and go.
Yes,
And
but
they're yeah, they're working.
they're doing so much, right? And
Yeah.
so that acknowledgement of how much weight and pressure our feet carry every day, and
A
some
little bit.
gratitude for all of our body parts is kind of a nice way.
Yeah.
But that piece of it of just really opening up to being present with whatever's right here and kind of clearing out like what is really here.
Yeah.
What's the story in my brain versus what's really here? What's really going on, right?
Hmm. One thing which just came to mind because you mentioned the body scan, and and it works really well too. Let's just imagine. Let's do a little kind of a I don't know imagination scene that you are a carer. Those that are listening, we're carers, and we're having to physically be involved with our the person that we are taking care of,
Yep.
and we could utilize that body scan as a way to not only recenter ourselves, but as a trainer, I like to think of it this way with my clients as well. Where are your feet?
Hmm.
Are your muscles engaged to help move this person and maybe give your body even that gratitude? Okay, let's get ready and make it a foot down, start from your feet all the way up through your body and then physically work with your client. And it just came to
Yep.
me as a way that you could prepare yourself physically that would also allow your body to function at its best in these situations. Sending it gratitude, strength, okay,
Yeah.
core, let's go. I need you here right now, and
Yeah.
and and um So it just came to mind when you said that. And I know you're a trainer, personal trainer as well. And you know how
Yep.
important it is for someone to be set up physically before they're going to lift, before they're going to do something. It's the same with caring for somebody. You're
Well, and
physically doing exercise.
even preparing the person that you're caring for. So both
Yes.
of you, like taking that breath and saying, "Hey,
Mm-hmm.
this is what we're going to do. Get your feet flat on the floor. Do you feel stable? Right?
Yep.
Here's what
Yep.
I'm going to do." And you both like,
Dude.
can
Yep.
can you sit on the edge and do you feel steady? Right? Like that's slowing down of the
Yep.
process of becoming very present. Actually, you can imagine in a care center many times just like, oh, I need to, and you move really quick and then your back's out and they're all wonky and
Mm-hmm.
so taking I guess using that mindfulness to be able to come in and say, hey, let's take a breath. We're gonna move or we're gonna do this and just be again, it's that presence, which
Yep.
at the most human level is what we all need. I see you, I hear you, I'm gonna respect where you're at, and we're doing this together, right?
Yep. And I noticed just, with my mom, when I do that with her, I slow down a lot now. She used to be like a little buzz around, and I'm like, slow down, mom. And she's off with her
Yeah,
walker and I'm
yeah,
chasing her, and now it's
yeah,
definitely I have to slow down and I have to remember that she's not at that pace anymore. But uh yeah, making sure I do the body scan, which I do just kind of intuitively. And then
yeah,
but also I love how you brought it up to let the person you're caring for have an opportunity if they're capable to know where their body is in space
yeah,
so that they
and
can prepare
prepare them.
and
Yeah,
like you said, be confident. I mean,
yeah,
it has to be very, I can only imagine being someone who has to be cared for and how scary that can be. You know?
yeah,
So I
yeah.
love how you brought that up.
Yeah, I remember when I was with my mom in the hospital and I she wanted me to help her, not the nurses, obviously because she trusted me, but just
Mhm.
really having to prepare myself for her. We were about the same size, weight wise, and it was dead weight for me to move her and having to get present with, okay, this is what we're going to do, mom, right? And getting her feet solidly on the floor and telling her what I was going to do. And I reflect now, it wasn't like my training in this came much later, but that presence of being right there and sharing kind of my awareness with her of like, I want you to be safe, which means I need to be prepared and safe. Like what you said,
Yeah.
like I needed to be firmly solid and ready to help her with what she was doing. And so, again, and I do think the energy that you put out when you do that is really caring and it's very loving. And it comes from a place of love rather than fear, right?
Yeah.
The speed and the rush is fear, like, oh my God, I got to do this so fast, or I got, instead of being really loving and present with, okay, I can see you, I'm seeing you, I'm acknowledging myself, I'm taking care of myself and getting myself prepared, and that you can feel that, right?
Mhm.
As
Oh yeah.
opposed to the shoulds coming in of I should move fast, I should do this better, like all of that. That's all fear, right? And when we are in fear mode, the energy we put out is very different, and everyone is then distorted by that. So,
And what's interesting to me too, when you say, when we talked about this, is that I find that when I go slow with her and methodical with her, we are actually probably getting through the movements and getting her places much quicker by
yes.
bringing down the pace, just being very purposeful, caring of myself, making sure I'm okay, making sure she's okay,
Yep.
and it creates a very uh, united feeling, where
Yep.
um, as opposed to me rushing her, and she can feel that, right? The person
Yep.
that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So let's talk about well, caregiving is very physical. It can be a very physical
Yes.
um, uh, thing to do. So, what are your thoughts about how um, someone could help themselves get stronger or, um, to help prevent any injuries? Do you have some thoughts on that?
Well, I think as we get older, I mean, for women, we need to have strong bones. It's very important to, I mean, I'm on Facebook right now doing 4 exercises that can really
I
help
saw
you,
you.
really help you
It was
keep your
good.
bones strong. So strength training is really important, especially as we get older, and then
Mhm,
working on balance and stability and mobility, like flexibility. You know this, you coach people on this, but I mean, it's the simple movements of like, can I stand up? Can I sit down? Like just the hip mobility, the shoulder mobility, so important as we get older to not get inactive, to move the
mhm,
body, to move the body in ways that we use every day, like reaching up and, shoulders back and hips,
mhm.
like keeping the mobility going. So it's really important to move your body,
Yeah.
and
And
keep,
I want to say, because you're speaking as us getting older, but also for you younger,
yes,
your
for everyone.
caregiver is the same thing, male, female. Everything she's saying is important because we can get really sedentary,
Yep.
and then our muscles start to, we lose our muscle, we lose mobility, like she was saying, the ability to raise an arm, ability to have hip, fluidity and things like that. So I just
Yeah.
want to throw that in there.
Anyone, yes.
Anything she's
Anyone.
saying goes for any age.
Exactly, exactly. And if you're at a desk all day, to make sure that you're getting up and moving around and stretching and moving your body, and we
Yeah,
tend to be hunched over a lot, so opening up the chest and the shoulders, and
yeah.
really important to, and everything matters, right? What we eat, how we move our body,
Mhm.
what we are mentally spending time on, our energy on. So the awareness of, does this serve me? Is this serving me for my highest good, right? Am I noticing when I eat this, do I feel energized, or do I feel bloated and you know not good? And bringing that awareness to it so that you can make good choices, so that you can show up and be your best self, right? And we're all different in that. Like I could eat a meal with you and we could have the exact same meal and it could totally affect me differently than you,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So noticing that and trusting that and building that awareness of like, oh, that thing that I thought was my favorite snack, really not serving me,
Yeah.
right?
Which
So,
I'll tell my clients, I know it's sad too sometimes. You're like, oh man, there's a little like part of the mind like, oh, I always had that. And one thing, just to key in on that, one thing that's helped me a lot was, yeah, that snack just happened to be involved with another situation that made me feel happy. Maybe it was a time with my family or my sisters
yep,
and so on. And we always had that thing, when we all got together. And so learning how to recreate, just transferring that happiness to the actual situation versus the food item has helped a
exactly.
lot.
Exactly. Yeah. So the
Yeah,
awareness of that, and just
yeah,
knowing what your body is saying
yeah,
to you, um and trusting that.
yeah,
Uh, yeah.
yeah,
But
exactly.
again, that's where mindfulness, or being aware or being present, is key, right? And we have every moment, every breath we take. I teach people right here, right now. That's all we got, right here, right now.
Mhm.
It's
Yep.
not what we did yesterday. It's not what we're doing in the future, right here, right now, right? So, what can I do right now to help me be my best self, right? Am I tired? Do I honor that? Do I, all of it,
Mhm.
all of it. And noticing how you're showing up. If you're showing up as a caregiver and you're wiped out and you're depleted and you haven't eaten, probably not going to be the best time, right? So
Yeah.
go feed yourself, go take care, before you go try to caregive. Because, like you
Yeah.
said, it makes it harder. Things like
Yeah.
take longer than,
Yeah. And I can see too, and I'm sort of projecting out here, but some of the listeners might be saying, "How am I supposed to get all this done? How am I supposed to do the exercises? And I can barely, have time to microwave something, And so what are your thoughts on if someone wants to get started, and just learning to make a change?
I think just start small. I mean, part of it is almost like we have a calendar with all sorts of things in our calendar every day. Is
Mhm,
there time for you in that day? So
mhm,
carving out time, even if it's 15 minutes, that's
mhm,
you time every morning to take care of yourself, to touch in. Um, and if you can, if it helps, schedule it through the day, right?
mhm.
Just schedule some time for yourself because you're worth it, and it's a rewiring. Like I talked about rewiring, it's you gotta it's a habit takes at least 8 weeks to really become a habit. So start little, but as you do that, you'll start noticing, and then you'll start maybe carving out a little bit more time, right? But if your mindset is I don't have time, then what little bit of time can you start with?
Yeah.
One small thing that you can do and start with, right?
And
Um,
sometimes I find too that if I start asking the question, if I was to do something small to get started, what would that be? And then the brain might say, I don't know, you don't have time. But if I had a few minutes, what do you think?
yeah,
And I'll have this little conversation sometimes, and then an idea will come up, and you're so on. If it's even if it's 15 minutes, it's interesting. A 15-minute break for yourself. It's amazing what that'll do. Part of your brain will say, "There's no way that's going to make a difference. I'm supposed to be at the gym for an hour. I should,
there's the shoulds. Yeah,
I should be doing these things." So, and Steph, I think, you know me and I know you really well. For me is, I schedule things in small increments throughout the day
yep,
is how my life is. And, you know, most of my clients are all online, and so
yep,
I have now a whole different scenario where I'm not as active as I was when I was seeing people in person. So now I
yep,
have a standing desk, so I can go up and down. Like right now, I'm standing. I invest in a little treadmill, desk
yep,
treadmill, and
yep,
I just start asking my brain, all right, what's the solution? What can we do so that I can stay healthy? Because I need to stay healthy. So,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah, it starts with the little prioritization of
yeah.
yourself. And when I coach people, my big thing is I ask them to just give themselves 15 minutes every morning because it's the start of a new day. It's a fresh day.
Mm-hmm,
Just take your cup of coffee, your cup of tea, whatever, just phone away, just be
mm-hmm,
in that moment, and and then obviously I give them practices to add on to that, but just that 15 minutes of this is me time
mm-hmm.
with no shoulds, no nothing, just I read poetry too. Like again, there's no rules. Just do something nice that you enjoy for 15
Yeah,
minutes that you enjoy. That is feels, spacious and warm and loving to yourself, right?
yeah,
Start with that. It's a game changer. It sounds like uh it's very indulgent. People think
mm-hmm.
as caregivers we need to go to the spa or do that. No, just give yourself 15 minutes.
And I want to totally tell everybody she's right. And I will speak from experience. I'm at like a 25-minute to myself every morning, and I just sit quietly. I have my eyes closed or whatever, and then I envision how I would like to show up for the day, and what kind of how do I want to feel in the day, and how do I
Yep.
want to breathe throughout the day, and it kind of gets my brain doesn't kind of it does it gives it a goal, oh, not that it works all day because life happens, but I can totally say that Steph's right. You can start with just something for yourself in the morning.
You
And
can even do it before you get out of bed. I actually start my practice before I get out of bed, and Another great practice, which people think, when someone said this to me, I was like, that's ridiculous. But it was like, just say I love you to yourself. So
Oh,
I
amazing.
went for a long time where I was like, I love you, Stefanie. And it
Mhm.
sounded hokey at first, but it changed. It rewired things in me to actually acknowledge myself and say, I
Yeah.
love you, Stefanie. And then at night, I love you, Stefanie, right? Um, just laying in bed, and you can do the body scan when you wake up of like, oh, how am I feeling? How's my body feeling? It doesn't have to be intense. It doesn't have to have rules. You can go, oh, how's my head feeling? How's my thumbs? They're feeling pretty good. I have a little bit of a thumb thing going on. So, just giving a little love, right? That
Hmm.
it's as hard and simple as that, but just
Yep.
that I love you. Someone said that to me, and I was like, okay, I'm going to do that. And I was kind of like,
That, it's great. And you feel it too. It's like giving yourself a hug. Like everyone,
it
okay, let's all do it
is.
together.
Yeah.
I'm serious. Those on listening, those are watching us, you can take a nice breath in, right? Cue us in, Steph.
I love you.
I love you.
And this what we're doing hands over heart, that's such a mindful self-compassion thing of like physical touch is so important to us, but
Mhm.
you can give it to yourself. Like you can give yourself a hug. You can hand on heart, just feeling the warmth of your own hand and acknowledging that, hey, I'm right here.
Yep.
I'm right here. It sounds so silly, but it is a game changer. It rewires your system. It's neuroscience backed, believe me.
Oh, yeah.
We could bring out books and all the data, but you don't need it. You just take our word and try it. Just
Try it.
try it,
Yep.
have fun with it. It is,
Yeah.
but that's really the invitation. And notice I've removed the word should from my life. It still pops out, but I'm
Yeah. Every now
very
and then.
aware when it pops out. I'm very aware. I'm like, nope, let me rephrase that. When I type things, I don't use should or but because but just erodes the beginning of the sentence, and usually that's
Mhm.
the best part of the sentence. 'Cause afterwards, but just like but blah blah blah. So I don't say but, I say and. It's an and. So it's really this, like, these little practices have changed like the way I become aware of how I want to show up, how I want to communicate, I don't want to put that on another person by saying you should. It's
Mhm.
I invite you, there's an invitation, how do you feel?
Yep.
Very spacious. That's why my name of my coaching is spacious, because I want to feel more spacious and open to different perspectives, different ways of doing things. We get very myopic on there's only one way to do life, and there's infinite possibilities. And so
Yep.
some of these practices just help us just by giving a little space. You
Yep.
can start seeing more possibilities. You can see new ways to do things. You can find the time to take care of yourself in the busy life that we all lead. Um,
Absolutely. Well, Steph, this has gone so fast.
it has. It
I
has.
could talk
Thank
to you
you so
forever.
much.
It's just
Yes.
so amazing. So, just to recap, what I believe I heard, is the important things are self-compassion. Um, what I really love is, and you just brought it up too in another way, is releasing the attachment to outcome. It's being. He also mentioned, exercises for rewiring your brain, and we talked about telling ourselves that we love who, love this body. We love so we love Tracy. I love Tracy
Yes.
and Stefanie, doing
Yes.
helping
Yeah.
to change neural pathways, and it is incredible what can happen. Finding just 15 minutes
Yep.
of ourselves, right? So how do people find you?
So I have a website. Some people find it, some people don't. I'm on social media. You can find me on social media. Um, Tracy, I don't know if you can share stuff on the post
Yep,
when
we
we
will be
get to,
putting
yeah.
locations
Yeah.
and
So
links for you.
spaciousheart.com. I'm online. Tracy knows me. I'd love to, I'm here. I love people. I do community meditations each week. You're welcome to join. I teach public classes on mindful self-compassion. I have one starting next Monday. It's called Compassionate Living. So that is out there.
So at the time of this drop of the podcast, that'll be tonight.
Okay. So Monday night, you can join at any time. We do
Yeah.
recordings. So it's a 6-week
Mhm.
class. Just dipping your toe, just getting in
Yeah.
there and carving out a little bit of time. And there's a lot of this out there. Putting on
Mhm.
your own oxygen mask first. It's
I
really
love it.
like taking that breath, taking care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, everyone, do definitely check out her website, follow her. She's on Instagram and Facebook, very uplifting. You know, sign up for her meditations, get on her email list. You will not regret it. So,
Thank you.
all right, everybody. Again, Steph, it's been a pleasure
Thank
having
you.
you. You're very welcome. And all right, everyone, we will see you next time on Vivatude. Talk to you soon.
And thanks for listening to Vivatude. 4 hosts, 1 each week. We help you revivitude your next chapter because purpose, passion, and prosperity isn't out there. They're already within you. Brighter, bolder, truer. Vivatude.